Let's see if we can, let's see. Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Um, I am still getting over Christmas. It was been quiet. It's been different. I don't know about you, Pauline, in your household. What's it been like?
It was quite quiet, but we did a lot of Zooming, and which is quite nice. So I did get to chat to lots of people from the comfort of my home. So it was okay.
Good, good. Um, have you been doing a lot of playing over Christmas then? Have you been playing your instruments and stuff?
I have been doing quite a lot. I was invited to be part of various festivals. I was part of it's a duo called Skinner and Twitch, who arranged a really nice festival about a week ago. So I was part of that. There was a local festival in Lochwinnoch near where I stay, and they had a special live stream and a project to get people to decorate their windows. So I think last time I was on, I might have sung my special Christmas song. So I wrote it especially for that. And then I've been doing quite a lot of live streams. I was streaming today and yesterday, special kind of uplifting New Year messages. So I might do some of those songs today. So yeah, quite busy. Oh,
Oh,
one other thing I did. I realised that last year I wrote 40 songs and I performed them all last week. I did three separate live streams, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to sing through them all. So I thought that's
oh.
a good way to end the year.
I see from your website that you even got a CD out now, ain't you? Or have you had that CD?
Almost, almost. I've recorded a CD. I'm just waiting for the final tracks to come back, and things just seem to be taking a bit longer at the moment, which is understandable.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that'll be a delay. Hopefully, that's all new songs that I've written within the last 3 or 4 months. So it should be out maybe January. So if people want to look out my website for that, that would be really good.
And will that
Um,
be on Amazon or?
it should be available on all the channels: Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, all the usual. Um, I'm never quite sure how these things work. Plus, hopefully, physical CDs as well. And I do have another one that was in the planning for longer. A bit that's going to take a bit longer. That should be out sometime next year. It's just everything's just taking longer, isn't it?
It is, yeah, 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 of course. Um, it's not just the harp you play because you play the clarinet too, don't you?
The flute, actually,
Yeah, the flute,
almost.
yeah,
The flute. And
yeah,
strangely enough, when I get round to do a song, I actually am planning to do a song where I do play the flute as well, which is tricky because you can't
yeah.
play the flute and sing at the same time. But that was my instrument for years. I learned the flute and played in orchestras as well as kind of folk music. And I've taken to the clarinet harp a wee bit later, but I love them both.
Yeah. What do you like playing most? Do you like playing the harp better or the flute?
As I say, it's really, really difficult to say. I like them both for different things. I like playing the flute in, I play in some amateur orchestras and stuff, and I love that. It's just so enjoyable. But when it comes to other kinds of music, I like the harp because I can sing and play at the same time. So because I like singing, so I probably prefer it. For other types of music, it's maybe more flexible. But I love them both.
Yeah, yeah. Um, when you're playing, also you belong to a because you like because you've been in several orchestras. You've also done kind of like you've been around, haven't you? You've been around like with folk music, festivals and everything. You've done quite a
I
lot,
have
and
been.
what achievement for that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, what I did for years was I had it as a hobby for many, many years. I worked and had music as a hobby, and I did play in a couple of um, bands, but as a kind of backing singer. So it wasn't until I learned the clarsach and accompanied myself that I became a kind of front singer and could perform on my own. So I've taken it much more seriously since then, and started writing songs, and I won a songwriting competition with like my third ever song, which was a bit cheeky, but and I've tried to go on from there. So I like performing on my own, but I do sing in various bands. I'm in a trio called Tame, a vocal trio, and that's really fun. I'm in a kind of fusion band, kind of Scottish Indian fusion music called the Fusioneers, and that's fun as well. And I play in a local group with two flute and whistle players, and I play the harp. Um, so yeah, I like to mix it up a bit, and but I like performing. I like to be able to perform on my own. It gives you a bit of flexibility. You can
Yeah.
just decide in your set list as you go along, and I like that too. So
How do you do that? How do you set up your set list for a particular concert, let's say, or a gig?
that's a really good question, actually. I like that question. I think quite a lot about set lists, and it's if you're playing in for a particular occasion, then I try and think of songs either that I've written or that are in my repertoire that fit that occasion. Or if you're playing in a particular place, um, I've been doing a lot of live streams over the last few months, and I try and have a theme for each one. My theme for this weekend has been kind of uplifting songs or songs looking to the future because it's obviously the
Mm.
beginning of the new year. I sometimes have themes like songs connected with films or connected with books or different countries or whatever. So I do like to mix it up, and I do like to have a theme. And then within a set, you've got to think about what's a good song to start with, what's a good song to end with, and then what you maybe would put in the middle of a set. So it takes and a bit of a balance. You like to have a balance, happy, more thoughtful, fast, slow, those kind of things. So it takes a lot of thought. I think.
Yeah.
I like to plan this.
If you wanted to learn a new instrument, musical instrument, what would you like to learn?
Oh my goodness. I I need to think about that. I'm not going to say guitar. Guitar is a handy instrument to have, but I don't get the chord things, and it's just not going to happen for me. Let's have a think. Oh, I tell you, an instrument I do like, which I used to play in another duo, and the woman that I played with played the thumb piano. It's sometimes called an mbira,
All right, is that the
and
one
it's
that
lovely.
sits on your lap or something like that? And
Yes,
yeah,
yes, it sits on your lap, and you kind of play it with your thumbs like that, and
yeah.
it's beautiful. It kind of complements the harp a wee bit, so I would probably say that would be an instrument I would quite like to play.
Right. Okay. Um, if you kind of like when you go to these folk music, and you do all these gigs at the folk music, um, and when you go there, if somebody kind of like says to you, "Oh, I want a specific song," can they? Do you kind of like do dedications, or you just stick to like a kind of like you know a set and that's it? You can't
Hmm.
uh,
Okay. I think you would try and incorporate a wee bit of what somebody's asking, particularly if it's
mm,
for a special reason. You would. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't necessarily do a whole gig like that, like a whole gig of requests, because
mm,
you do plan a gig and you do have songs that you've rehearsed that you want to do
mm,
specifically. But if somebody asks for something and it's something that you know, then I would try and include it as a one, maybe one or two of those kind of songs within a set. Or sometimes people have a song of yours that they love that they've heard
mm.
already, and they might request that. In which case, that's nice to do that as well. So you try and balance it. You would try and take on board what people are asking for, because
Yeah,
that's the whole point of live audiences. It's about having a bit of a relationship with your audience.
yeah.
Like even
What?
doing live streams, for example, which I have been doing the last few months, comments appear while I'm playing, and obviously you can't get too distracted by them, but I do see them. And if somebody makes a comment, it's nice to be able to comment back, or if they're asking for something particular, I would try and do that because it's nice to get a dialogue.
When you was a child, what was the first instrument that you picked up?
Well, couldn't pick it up because it was the piano and it's quite heavy. So that's why I started.
Sorry, then play then.
That's okay. That's all right. I think a lot of people start with the piano, and to be quite honest, it's not an easy instrument to get to grips with. You press it, a note comes out, and everybody thinks that's the instrument to start with. It's really, really hard to get good at the piano. I went to piano lessons for years, and it's a really good foundation to build musical education on, but it's hard. And most of the time you're playing on your own, because until you get really, really good, you can't accompany people or anything. So I learned piano for years. The second instrument I learned was the violin, and I hated it. I was really bad, and I was so bad at it that I didn't practice, which is the wrong thing to do. You're meant to practice so you get better. But I never got to the stage where I enjoyed the sound I made. So I didn't like that. And then finally, when I was 11, I got a chance to learn the flute through my primary school. And that was a different ball game. I just loved it from the beginning. And that was me on my road. Love the flute, and I've played it ever since. So if anybody's listening and is wanting to pick up an instrument, or maybe their child, they want their child to learn something, there's actually good books out there. It's not just a case of any instrument will do.
That was my next question. That was. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, about
yeah. It's quite important to choose an instrument that a child feels comfortable with. As I say, I played piano for years. I was okay at it, but I never felt that comfortable. It doesn't, for some reason, sit under my fingers. Whereas, for some reason, the harp, the minute I touched my harp, I felt it was the right instrument for me. So it's quite important. There is a book called Choosing the Right Instrument for Your Child by Atara Bentova, I think. So if anybody has children wanting to learn, have a read at that book, because it's quite important. If a child is just physically not comfortable with an instrument, or doesn't feel connected to the instrument, then they're not going to enjoy it. And they might be musical, but it just might not be the right instrument.
Yeah.
That's why I see so many people start on the piano, and it doesn't suit everybody.
Yeah. When I was at primary school, I kind of like used to play the triangle, ding. I was never good at that. Never good at that. Then it was the recorder, and they said to me, "Oh, you're quite good at that, doing that recording. You could be in the school play, Christmas time." I thought, all right. I won't mention about that one. And so it happened there. But then I went on to the drums at secondary school, and I was okay with that, with the drums. I was all right. But then I thought, oh, one day I'll try and do it again and go into like a recording studio. This is only a few years ago down in Cornwall. And I tried playing the drums and I can't play it.
Oh no!
I forgot everything. I forgot, everything. And I think some rock and roll thing, and I couldn't remember I got the tune going, but I couldn't just, what I was just smashing it everywhere like that, and I was thinking, I was like, have you ever seen that program Sesame Street, and you got that puppet on there? I can't remember what his name was, and he's hitting the drums. I was something like
sure.
that.
Oh.
Sorry? Oh, yeah.
Maybe it just takes a bit of time to get back into it.
Yeah, but so what are you going to play for us today then?
Okay, the first one I'm going to play, I actually will be playing a bit of flute, so I've had to record the harp part. I'm just going to put this on. Okay, and hopefully you'll hear it all okay. Now this is a song written with my writer friend Rakesh. We've written a lot of songs together. I think it's about 30 songs we've written together, and I've done about 12 myself in the past year, so lots of songs. This song is called It Is What It Is, and it's kind of about the situation we're in. There's so many bits about the situation we can't change, but we can look for positives, and like your streaming, like the streaming I've been doing, like many of the groups that have been set up, and people taking to Zoom to communicate, dealing with the situation we're in. So it's called It Is What It Is. Will I just start it? Yeah.
Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
I've recorded the harp. So you. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. Be happy with what you have, don't look for lottery wins. If life gives you a hit, just take it on the chin. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. Go on and catch each day and grab it by the neck. You know it will not return like Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. If the world's against you, just look it in the eye. So give it your best smile and watch your troubles fly. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. Try and keep it simple and keep it monochrome. Who needs to travel when life's so good at home? It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. It's what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars. It is what it is. We are who we are. If you're feeling down, just look up at the stars.
Brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
How long did it take you to learn the flute?
Learn the flute. Okay, well, I started when I was 11, but I did. You can progress fairly quickly with the flute, so I was. Yeah, I mean, you're always learning. You never stop learning, really. So I've been learning it ever since I was 11, but I was able to play in groups, which is a good thing about the flute, and I mean orchestras and things from just a year or two later, so you can move on pretty quickly with the flute. I love it.
Yeah. Have you ever played at Edinburgh Castle?
I haven't played at Edinburgh Castle. I have played at Stirling Castle. I'm not sure if I talked about that the last time.
No, not Stirling, no.
But I haven't played at Edinburgh Castle. No.
Oh,
But
right, okay.
Stirling Castle in the Big Hole, that was an amazing gig. I usually do a Christmas gig there, along with the National Youth Choir of Scotland. So it's a lovely gig, but not this year, unfortunately.
Okay. Have you ever played in front of the royal family?
No.
Not at all. Would you? Would you if you were offered?
I mean, I honestly don't know. It would depend on the circumstances. I'm really not sure. That's a question I can't really answer. I'm not the hugest fan of the royal family, but as people, I respect them. So if it was a particular event and there was, yes, I would probably, depending on the event. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about the questions, but it's just
It's
kind of
okay.
like
It's interesting.
it's questions I get asked to get asked here. It's not all
It's
my
interesting
questions, I'm
question.
afraid. Yeah, yeah. Um, if there was a festival that you would love to do, what would it be?
Oh, no, now you're asking me. Hmm. Oh, I would like to travel to a festival in Europe somewhere. I'm not sure exactly which one. There's one in Brittany, and I can't remember the name of it. Some kind of Celtic festival, which would be nice.
Right.
Um, there's
Glastonbury?
so many. Yes, Glastonbury. Who wouldn't want to play at Glastonbury? Yes. I mean, I have played at a kind of mini Glastonbury, which is the Eden Festival in Scotland, just near Dumfries. Now, it
All
didn't
right.
happen last year, but I have played there and I loved it because it's not too big. And I play in a kind of chill out lounge. I play in the tent that everybody goes to recover from the night before. So it's all filled with like hammocks and sunken baths and things. And I play quite a chilled out set and it's lovely. So I love playing there. Some of the folk festivals, it's hard to get into festivals, to be quite honest. If you're not a big name, it's really hard. Through lockdown, I've met a lot of people who live near Cambridge, and I know Cambridge Folk Festival is a big thing, and I would love to play there. Uh, who knows? Next year, I'm hoping to play at the Moira Furnace Festival, which is another folk festival. It's a small scale, but I like small scale festivals, so I'd like to play there. Um, Various festivals in Scotland. There's a Heb Celt Festival up in Stornoway. Love to play there. Anywhere. If there's any festival organisers, I'll play anywhere. I'll play in a tent, I'll play in a corner, don't care.
Have you ever been busking?
Yes, I have done busking. Yeah, quite a lot. Not so much recently. Years ago, I used to do a bit, and actually could do quite well. I mean, many years ago. You're talking back in the 80s, sometime early 80s. Busked just. We used to do a big event as part of the Edinburgh Fringe, a big field, and I used to play on the entrance to that, so we used to do quite well. But I busked about 4 or 5 years ago. I had a wee phase of busking. There's a big thing in Portobello near Edinburgh called the Big Busk, and a whole load of a whole beachfront is dedicated to buskers all day, and that's really fun. So I have done a wee bit. It's quite fun actually,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
have the right place. And anyway, it's quite nice because people don't. You're not imposing on anybody. People walk past, and if they want to stop and listen, they can. If they want to contribute, they can. If they want to buy a CD, they can. So it's quite nice, and you're contributing to the atmosphere of the street or the shopping centre, wherever you are. So yes, I have done it. Not
Is
in the
there
last
any
3 or 4 years. I have done it.
yeah. Is there any places that you didn't like to go? Like, is there any places that you played and you're thinking, what am I doing here?
Ooh. Do you know, there's usually a reason for playing most places. I mean, I have played in some strange places. I have played as background music. I've played in, shoved into a corner. But I've also played some amazing places, and I've played. I mean, like last year I was touring in Australia and New Zealand, and played in some wonderful folk clubs, including one at the top of a volcano, an extinct volcano. I hope, just at Auckland. That was fun. Um, Played at a cafe just near a case. I mean, I like unusual venues, but I can't think of many that I always think there's a reason for it. Even if you're in a gig and there's hardly anybody there, you might meet somebody who says, well, actually, I love what you do. Come and play for such and such. But things always seem to lead to something else. So I very rarely regret a gig. I can't actually think of any that I wished I hadn't been there. Something always comes out of it. You might meet somebody lovely. You might do a really good version of a song and be really happy with your performance. There's a reason for doing those gigs.
Yeah. I've got a message here off my radio site. It's not on here. And it says here, Pauline, when are you going to Copenhagen? Are you going to Copenhagen?
No, I have no plans to go to Copenhagen. I would love to. If your lovely listener has any suggestions for venues in Copenhagen, I would happily go there.
All right.
No plans to go, but nope. At the moment, it's hard to have plans at the moment because we don't know when
Oh, yeah,
things are going
yeah,
to get back.
yeah.
Meant to be touring. I mean, I'm hoping for the Edinburgh Fringe next year. I'm hoping for this Moira Furthers Festival, hoping for the Eden Festival. Fingers crossed. But ideas for Copenhagen would be very welcome.
Yeah, I wonder what they said Copenhagen for then.
Maybe that's where they're listening from. If that's the case, please let me know. I would love to go.
Yeah. Please let us know. Yeah. Oh, hang on for a second. I mentioned Copenhagen because they have a folk festival over there.
Oh, do
I am one of
they?
the organizers.
Whoa,
Could I send you my details to con? So no, sorry. Can I send you my details so that we can get
that would be
contact?
so lovely.
Yes, I will do. I will pass it on to Pauline. Not a problem at all. That is not a
What a
problem.
lovely thing to offer. Thank you so much. That's exactly the kind of thing you hope for. Somebody saying, here's a festival.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
don't you do? That's great because it's so
yeah,
hard to just approach these things blind. So
yeah. Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. I will send that on to Pauline. Just send it to us, and we will kind of like pass it on to Pauline straight away for you. Yeah. What else are you going to play for us now, Pauline?
Okay, well, I have a wee mixture for you. I thought I'd do kind of fairly uplifting and fun things today. So the
Okay,
next
good.
one I think last time I was here, I told you that I do a lot of one song to the tune of another. And although I've been writing a lot of songs, I've been doing this in honour of the late great Tim Brooke Taylor and
All
the
right.
the piano show. I'm sorry, I have a clue. So I thought I'd do one of those for you because it's a bit daft. I have done 128 of these since March. They're all on my YouTube channel. If you want to see, let's have a wee think. Jilted John to the tune of Greensleeves, or uh, Sweet Child of Mine to the tune of the Wombling Song. They're all on YouTube. So
Yeah, I've
I'm
I've
going
got
to
it. I've got it
do.
on my I've got it on my radio site now at the moment.
Well, thank you.
That's right.
So I'm going to do one. I did this just before Christmas. It's the reason I'm doing it is because the tune is from a film that was shown over Christmas. I'm not going to tell you what the words are or what the tune is. People can either guess or we'll just tell you at the end. So I'll just sing it for you. Here we go. When you're feeling sad and low, we'll take you just exactly where you want to go. Smile and dance and everything is free. All you need is positivity. Slam it to the left if you're having a good time. Shake it to the right if you know you feel fine. Shake us to the front, go around. Spice up your life. Yellow man in Timbuktu, color for both me and you. Kung Fu fighting, dancing queen, tribal spaceman, and all in between. Slam it to the left if you're having a good time. Shake it to the right if you know you feel fine. Shake it to the front, go around. Spice up your life. Colors of the world, every boy and every girl, people of the world, spice up your life. Flamenco, lambada, but hip hop is harder. We moonwalk the foxtrot, then polka the salsa. Slam it to the left if you're having a good time. Shake it to the right if you know you feel fine. Shake us to the front, go around. Spice up your life. Slam it to the left if you're having a good time. Shake it to the right if you know you feel fine. Shake us to the front, go around. Eyes of your life.
Oliver.
Yes, absolutely, from Oliver.
Yeah, yeah,
It's Papa from Oliver.
yeah,
What were
yeah.
the words? You'll have got the words.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. I can't remember
Well,
the words.
it's all right. It was the Spice Girls, Spice Up Your Life.
All right, that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry,
I just
I,
think we fitted together quite well.
Spice Girls were not my
Yeah.
forte. I think they're my
All
wife's.
right.
I think they're my wife's, but not mine. uh, yeah.
Well, I ended up developing a whole show of one song to the tune of another because I say I've done 128, so I could do several shows based on that alone. Plus, yeah, I've got loads of ideas for shows, so
Good, good,
try
good.
and be flexible.
What are you going to play for us now?
Okay, dokie, let's have a wee think. I had a wee thought what I would do. Right, I'm going to change this around a wee bit. What I'm going to do is a song that I wrote in collaboration with my writer friend, and it's probably one of our best songs, one of our favourites, and it's called Blue Leaves.
Right.
And yeah, just doing it. So we wrote it maybe just over a month ago, but it's become a firm favourite, and I have recorded it, so I'm hoping this CD will come out maybe January. Who knows? So this is
Okay.
Blue Leaves. The seasons all come and go, the changing colours changing hues. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you. Summer will bring flowers, the sun will come shining. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you. Your fragrance still lingers here, each breath a whiff of morning dew. The birds will serenade us, but this year only sing the blues. Spring will mess with cherry trees, bursting blossom buds in bloom. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Your fragrance still lingers here, each breath a whiff of morning dew. The birds will serenade us, but this year only sing the blues. Winter undresses trees, naked branches come to view. But all that I will see will be so blue without you. The seasons all come and go, the changing colors changing hue. But this year's autumn leaves will be so blue without you.
Well done. Brilliant. Really good.
Thank you.
Really good. Um, let's get back to the harp. With the harp, if someone wants to go, I've been asked questions on my radio. Where is it to? Lisa says, how long does it take Pauline to learn that harp? And if it's a short period of time, will I be able to play it, or is it very difficult to play?
Now, that's a tricky question because I think it depends on how much musical involvement that you've had and how many other instruments you play. Didn't it didn't take me that long because I have had music for training. So what I did very quickly was work out how to make arrangements on the harp that suited me because I
Yeah.
usually use it for song accompaniment. And I actually did a gig within about a week of buying this harp, which was really cheeky, but I was able to do quite simple arrangements that I could cope with while I was singing. So it really depends. It's how long is a piece of string. The good thing about the harp is you get a lovely sound. So even wrong notes sound good. I mean, like a note sounds good. You know, it sounds good. So the initial getting the initial sound is okay. You can do very simple one note at a time things that sound quite good. And then as you learn, you can make it more complex. So my only advice would be if you want to play the harp, I would honestly just do it. There's different sizes. I've got a smaller one. I've got a 19-string harp that kind of sits on my lap. It's fairly straightforward. This one's a bit bigger. If you want to do it, it's one of those instruments that it kind of gets to you. So if you want to do it, you should really just learn. Find a good teacher, or if you've had a lot of musical training yourself, you can work a lot out yourself, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I would say just go for it and see where it takes you.
There's another question here from Rebecca. She's saying, why are arts? Why are what? Sorry, can't read the writing here.
Okay.
Why are arts are different sizes? Didn't make sense, but why are
it's a good
arts
question.
different sizes? Yeah.
Now, basically, all harps, no matter what size, are really the same instrument. You can't see it too well here. You can't see the different colours of strings, but they're strings so that there's an octave there. There's red strings which are C, blue strings which are F.
I can see it now. Go on.
Yeah, you can see a wee bit there. And a smaller harp has just got less strings, basically. My 19-string harp goes from like there to there. Like, you can't really see it, but it's just like a smaller version of this. So that's why if you can play one harp, you can play them all. They're just different. You just need to get your hands used to the different sizes. And some don't have the range of the others. If I play my smaller harp, I have to rearrange some of my songs because I can't get all the notes. I can't get all the lower notes that I'm used to. I think it's just for hand. I mean, I think it's a very old instrument. It's a very simple instrument and a very old one. And I think in years gone by, there was minstrels that would travel around playing to, like, the courts of the king. Henry VIII would have had a harpist, and all these people. And it's obviously easier to travel with a smaller harp. So I think it's really just for convenience. Smaller harp for travel, bigger harp for more complicated things. So it's really just convenience is what leads to the harp being the different sizes.
Yeah, that's the next question. Mark said, how do you go? How do you take your musical instruments around you from one gig to another? You've probably got a big car or van, have you?
I have a car. It's not actually a big car. This car, I used to think I had to have a big car, but then I realised that this harp can actually fit on the back seat of I've got quite a small car actually, and it fits. Or you can put the back seat down and make a whole compartment. So it's really not too bad. I think the big classical harps, you need a big substantial car, but this isn't like that. This fits in an ordinary car, and my smaller harp, you can carry it around really anywhere. My problem with this one is if I'm traveling by public transport. Car is fine. You can even squeeze other people in the car at the same time. It's a bit of a squeeze, but anyway. But traveling by bus is tricky. Like, and train is tricky unless you can find a special, like, unless you get a spare seat, which is okay. And as for flying, I won't fly with this one. I'm just too frightened that it's just going to get wrecked. So if I'm traveling, and I've done tours in Australia and New Zealand and in Canada, and what I've done is arranged to borrow a harp when I'm there. I've taken my wee travel harp, and I've also arranged to borrow them. So I would say flying is the biggest problem, and buses, but car, not a problem. Walking, can't go far with this one, but I can walk with the smaller one.
Have you ever been asked? Have you ever been on a train with the harp?
Yes, I've been in a few actually, and I have to say this last.
Have they ever asked you to play it?
Not on the train. I have been asked in the plane. I was once asked, first time I went to Australia, I was going through security, and I was a wee bit wary about my harp going through the system, and I said, please be careful. And then the guy said, what will you play it? And I said, I was a bit, I thought he was kidding. I didn't think he meant it, but he did mean it. So I sat in, I think it was Brisbane Airport, playing A Fond Kiss. in the middle of Brisbane Airport. And the whole, they stopped all the machines, stopped all the security systems, and everybody just listened. So that was probably my weirdest gig.
God. Was there a lot of people watching?
Yeah.
God.
It's very bizarre.
Oh, God. What else are you going to play for us now?
Okie dokie, let's have a wee look. I'm trying to mix it up a wee bit for you. I think I'll do a kind of light-hearted song. Hold on till I just find this. They're also new songs. Sorry, I need the words. Okay, this next one was again written with my friend Rakesh, and we thought we'd write kind of light-hearted song about what happens in all the galleries and museums when they were shut, particularly during the first lockdown. You may think that the staff, they just stay in their frames and they're all well behaved, but we thought differently. Right, so okay. This is a bit of a light-hearted song, if that's okay. It's called the Mona Lisa Romp. This is what the paintings and statues really get up to during lockdown.
Okay.
The security guard was doing his final rounds. Outside the world was changing, the world was shutting down. He entered all the galleries, putting out the lights, and said to all the exhibits, now here's a sorry sight. No one will be coming into view. No one to admire you, no vast unruly queues. But I don't want you lot to misbehave. No romping round the galleries, no parties, no raves. But when all the lights went out, the paintings all exclaimed with pleasing, at last we can be free. When there's no one there to see, the statues get down from their shelves, shouting, now we can be ourselves. We can join the rank and file, and Mona Lisa do much more than smile. Mona Lisa with her enigmatic smile heard what the guard said and thought, we'll be here a while. For 500 years I've had no laughter. Leonardo made it clear exactly what he was after. Not a thing must spoil your mysterious air. So no one told her funny jokes, she knew they wouldn't dare. But now her smile grew into a veritable grin. She sniggered, chuckled, then guffawed, she couldn't hold it in. The naked David heard her guffaw. He looked round about him, and this is what he saw. Realized he was but naked, he felt such a prick. I need designer underwear, oh that will do the trick. He stiffly climbed down from his pedestal and looked for catwalk rejects to clothe his genital. Discarded the Armani, it made him look too scrawny, but with the Calvin Klein, his parts looked mighty fine. When all the lights went out, the paintings all exclaimed with glee, saying at last we can be free. When there's no one there to see, the statues get down from their shells, shouting now we can be ourselves. We can join the rank and file, and Mona Lisa do much more than smile. Off went Dave in search of female adulation. His new clothed genitalia would surely please the nation. He knew that some chick Venus was coming out her shell, and thought that he would meet her, then they could kiss and tell. Arriving at her frame, he got a shock. Yes, Venus had arisen with no knickers, bra or frock. Alas, it also turns out that she was not alone. A lurking little artist cried, mon Dieu, my cover's blown. Lautrec was on the hunt for dancing girls. They canned in leaving Degas ballerinas in a whirl. The Demoiselle d'Avignon then waltzed into the frame. But arms and legs were all mixed up, they went before they came. The Last Supper guys were pissed under the table. American Gothic couple said, we'll join when we are able. The girl who'd lost her pearl earring thought she was in a dream. And Munch's figure shouted out, I'll scream and scream and scream. When the security guard came back and saw the naked bums and bollocks, he said, you guys are killing me. What a load of bollocks. But when all the lights went out, when all the lights went out, the paintings all exclaimed with glee, saying at last we can be free. When there's no one there to see, when there's no one there to see, the statues get down from their shelves, shouting now we can be ourselves. When all the lights went out, when all the lights went out, the paintings all exclaimed with glee, saying at last we can be free. When there's no one there to see, when there's no one there to see, the statues get down from their shelves, shouting now we can be ourselves. We can join the rank and file, and Mona Lisa do much more than smile.
Well done. That was funny, that. That's really funny. Really
That took me a
funny.
bit of a laugh.
Where'd you get the idea for that too then, that song?
Well, as I wrote it with my writer friend Rakesh, and I think we both hit on the idea at the same time. Um, Earlier in lockdown, there was pictures doing the rounds on Facebook of like the Mona Lisa and the girl with the pearl earring kicking off their shoes and having a pint kind of thing. So just kind of came from that idea. We just thought, well, we just thought of all the famous paintings we could think of and thought we'll just throw them into the song.
Brilliant. Really, really good. Really good. Have you got any more gigs? I know we're going through bad times at the moment, but is there any gigs more planned at the moment, or is it just you're home at the moment doing?
It's really all just live streams at the moment because we're still, I mean, I think the situation in Scotland has been slightly different. We haven't had live music for quite a while,
Mm,
so we keep having to put things back and put things back. The various live streams, I'll have a few round about Burns night. My local arts festival, the Lochminnock Arts Festival, are going to be arranging a Burns live stream.
mm,
And I think I'm doing one on various things. There's a group called the Doghouse Open Mic Lockdown Sessions. They're arranging a Burns event, and the Largs Folk Nights are arranging a Burns night. So I'll be part of all of those.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know when my actual live gig will be. I mean, I think I'm hoping for an Eden Festival in June.
yeah,
It might take that long. Moira Furnace Festival in August, the Edinburgh Fringe in August. Um, yeah, actual live
yeah,
gigs. It's a bit hard to tell, but I'll be doing lots of live streaming. So just I'll try and put most of them on my website and on my Facebook page.
yeah.
Just keep going
Do
with
you
those.
think? Do you think live music will survive, or when live music comes back, do you think it will be different?
Ah, that is a fantastic question. I wish I knew. I think it will come back in some way. I think it's going to take a while because lot there's so much involved in it. There's many venues that will be struggling, and some venues might not open again. That would be terrible. I think people will be glad. I think there'll be an appetite for live music. I think people really want to get together in a room with people, but there might have to be restrictions at first. Um, so I think it will be, but I think there's something about live streaming that's been quite positive. So I think they might keep that going up to a point. There might be a bit of a mixture, but let's hope that music comes back because that's what we want to do. Everybody wants to get together, have a
Mm,
festival, get together in a room, hear live music. So I'm hopeful, but there's
mm.
a lot of musicians really struggling. I mean, there's no
Of
income
course they
for
are.
people
Yeah,
really.
I
You
speak
know,
to them every day, and I interview them, and they, it's their only job, some of them, and and they're losing out big time, and it's a shame.
yeah.
And
And you don't get income from I mean, streaming is crazy. I think you have to have so many hundreds of thousands of streams to make. It's not really doable. So I have a feeling that there's a campaign going to try and improve streaming rights for musicians so that people can make a bit more of a living from it because at the moment that's really all you can do. That's some people's only
yeah,
income.
the trouble is
So
with YouTube, it's
fingers
like
crossed.
I was speaking to somebody the other day, like, and they said they got 10,000 people on there. I said you need to get more than 10,000 people to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
on YouTube, and I think it's totally wrong, you
Yeah,
know.
no, yes, exactly. I mean, it's huge. So it's only the really huge artists that make. I mean, I've done quite well with my YouTube. I've gone from like 12 subscribers to like 720, but it's a long way to go before you make any income from that. And I think, yeah, I think if you reach a certain level, then they ask you about advertising and stuff. But then you don't necessarily want that either. It's hard.
Yeah,
I think they need to look at it. How can musicians actually make an income? Somebody needs to look at it.
yeah. Exactly. When you're doing your gigs and everything, do you find that sometimes, especially the coronavirus day, that do you think that the government, sorry, your Scottish government, do you think they kind of like made the wrong decisions to kind of like close down things early, or what do you think?
Ooh, it's very
I,
different. I think the way back in March that everything happened too late. I mean, I think other countries were telling us to clamp down, and we didn't. I think since then, I have to say, I feel the Scottish government have been quite good. We've been more restricted up here than has happened down in England. We've not been allowed in people's houses for a long time. Even outside gatherings, it's been two households for months here. Um, and I do feel that they're a bit ahead of the curve here. That they're they've already decided to cancel some of the school exams next year because if you leave it any longer, it's going to be too late to adjust. So I think
yeah,
they're trying their best. It's very
yeah.
difficult, but I think they're trying their best up here. I'm not. I won't speak about the Westminster government. They want to make your airwaves blue.
Yes. I've been taken off Twitter because of that, so don't worry.
I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But when you got your point of view and you kind of come across it, I'm thinking, I what gets me appalling is these stages. There's tier one, tier three, tier four. You know,
Yeah.
and all I had to say was, why don't you just kind of like just what cut down cut it down altogether, and save a lot of lives. And
Yeah,
but
it was kind of it seemed almost easy. Well, not easier the first time round, but the fact that everybody was you just knew the rules. It was just like don't do anything. But then when the rules are relaxed and people think, well, I can maybe do this, or
yeah,
I think it's made it a lot more complicated. We've got a
yeah,
slightly different tier system up here, and it's been very. I mean, they review it every week, and they've been a bit more straightforward with their messages up here. I think. Um, yeah, I think the tiers in
yeah.
England don't seem to be working.
No, well,
But anyway,
you know
let's
what?
fingers crossed things are going to
We
get back
need
to
we need Nicola Sturgeon down there, and I'll send Boris up to you.
no, no. He wouldn't last. I'm sorry. He would get. We wouldn't we wouldn't put up with him.
You won't
Be hounded out the country. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
get taken off the airwaves for that. But
Yeah.
seriously, that wouldn't
No,
work up
why
here.
why I brought I'm not a politics person, but why I brought politics in is because I wanted to mention about the live, about the live music, because a lot of people are suffering out there at the moment, and probably you are, and and I wanted to bring it in because I know there's plenty of people watching at the moment where they are suffering,
Yeah,
and I just wanted to get that on your point of view because you're up in Scotland to see,
yeah,
how you're
yeah.
getting on with everything.
Well, I mean, pros and cons. We do feel that in general, I do feel the Scottish government have tried to keep on top of things, but live music has been more restricted up here. There's been like nothing for months. So even when the restrictions were eased down south, music wasn't really happening up here at all. So what's needed is actually more support for musicians because many of them don't. There's various schemes to help people, but I don't think they they help a lot of musicians. Some of them fall, some of them haven't earned enough to apply for some of the schemes that
Yeah.
are around. So that is, and music's a huge thing in this country. It's the UK is known for its music scene, and unless we're careful, there won't be a music scene to happen because it's it's not just the musicians, it's the technicians, it's the sound people. people that work in the venues.
Yeah.
I think, sorry, I just saw a brief
Yeah,
comment
sorry.
along the
Yeah,
bottom saying
yeah,
something.
sorry.
No, it's good. Yes, it'll come back stronger with more emotion. Yes, I do believe that. I think when it does come back, it's going to be incredible. I think there's going to be just a huge outpouring of everything, and people are just going to be so happy. So if we can survive for another wee while, I think it's going to be incredible. And yes, I think there's going to be a real appetite for live music. Let's just hope there's enough musicians able to do it and enough venues. I think let's be hopeful.
Yeah, let's be positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got anything positive to end then?
I mean, a song or a
Yes,
yeah.
please. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a wee think. I keep changing. Yes, I do. I do. I do. I keep changing my mind what I'll do, but I'm going to end with a nice positive song. This is another song in collaboration with my writer friend, and the reason it's so positive is we opened this up as a competition to English language students to write on the subject of me day. What would you do with a day just for yourself? And the life affirming thing about this is the students who took part, none of them talked about material things. They all talked about spending time with loved ones. That's the important thing in life. So this song kind of reflects that. It's called Me Day, and yeah, I'll finish with that one. In case I don't have the chance to see it, Dan, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a lovely. I've loved your questions. They've been really interesting,
Thank you
and
so
thank you to
much.
all listening. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'll finish with Me Day. It's a bit of a kind of carnival feel. So let's hope I get to
Yeah.
play this at a festival one day soon. Me day, oh me day, me day, oh me day. Every day can be special, every day can be unique. Every day let's celebrate, each day is mystique. But what I want, what I really want, and hope you won't disagree. What I really, really want is a day dedicated to me. Me day, oh me day, me day, oh me day. Father's Day is Father's Day, and Mother's Day is Mother's. Sisters too have their day, as do all of the brothers. But what I want, what I really want, and hope you won't disagree. What I really, really want is a day dedicated to me. Me day, oh me day, me day, oh me day. Women have their day in March, and men's is in November. You may forget these days, but remember to remember that what I want, what I really want, and hope you won't disagree. What I really, really want is a day dedicated to me. Pa pa da pa pa da pa. Pa 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 da 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 da. There's even a day for the dead. Is there one for the living? There's a day for receiving. Is there one for giving? So what I want, what I really want, and hope you won't disagree. What I really, really want is a day dedicated to me. Me day, oh me day, me day, oh me day, me day, oh me day, me day, oh me day. If it was my me day, I'd let all my fears slip away. I would say what I never had courage to say. With the people I love who I really love, I would like to stay. I would not run away from love, spend my day in a happy way. Me day, oh me day, 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 me day, me day.
Well done. Well done. I just got a message here for you.
Oh, oh, thank you. Best. Oh, thank you so much for that. Yes, it's a soothing instrument. Well, it can be lively, but it can be soothing as well. So I like the variety of it. Thank you.
Pauline, thank you very much again for coming back on again, and I love you coming back on, and
Yeah, honestly, anytime. It's been an absolute pleasure.
oh,
Thank you for
definitely
having
will
me.
be. Thank you very much, Pauline. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, and thanks to everybody listening. And I'll
Thank you.
hope to see you soon. Okay, cheers, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
There you go. That was Pauline Vallance. Please look her up, guys. She is really, really, really good. And what she does, not just the art, clarinet. Okay, I'm going to be back around about um, 8:30 with Tommy. Don't miss it. That's going to be funny, really funny, really good. So see you later. Bye bye.